Yesterday, Bitcoin saw a very volatile day, and this was all because the US government is trying to shake us out of Bitcoin. Because they came with some interesting investigation into USDT, which caused Bitcoin to dump. But however, we broke out of this huge bull flag formation on the weekly time frame, which is very bullish, and I will discuss this with you in this video. I will also have a look at some other time frames with you for Bitcoin, because a lot of interesting formations are unfolding. I will also have a look at the two altcoins, Vechain and DogWifHat, but about that later in the video. There's also a lot of interesting news coming in for the Bitcoin ETFs and the Ethereum ETFs, so watch this video all the way to the end, like the video, and let's dive right into the charts. On the 15-minute time frame, we can see that yesterday Bitcoin opened the CME gap around the $66,810, and this is looking good for Bitcoin because this is a very high CME gap, and this I think could be one of the most highest CME gaps ever in the history of Bitcoin. So I think that Bitcoin will trade around this level during the weekend, and I believe that we will see a short close after the weekend is done. So keep in mind that Bitcoin will trade around the CME gap during the weekend, and that we won't see a lot of volatility coming in unless there's some big event coming. But however, I think that the CME gap around the $66,810 will be closed shortly after the weekend is done. And yesterday we saw a lot of interesting price action unfolding. We saw a huge dump, and it was all caused because the US government said they were launching an investigation into USDT crypto firm Tether. And this was having a very interesting effect on the price of Bitcoin because it all happened here and we saw a huge crash and we all dumped below to the $65,000, which was very bearish of course. But later in the evening we saw an update about this news, and that the CEO of Tether, Paulo Ardoino, denies that Wall Street Journal report that the firm is under investigation by the US government. So this was all just a FUD of the US government. So this was causing a lot of panic into the market, but we saw a huge retracement back to the top side, and this was very interesting to see because I think a lot of people were getting shaken out. Their longs could be flushed out, and now we are seeing some spikes to the top side again. And after that we saw just a continuation of the same price after before the huge FUD story came out. So I think the US government is just trying to do everything now to shake us out of Bitcoin. So let's have a look at the charts with the normal price action for Bitcoin. So earlier this week, Bitcoin created this huge top around the $69,000, which was confluent with previous resistance on the daily chart. We can see a big rejection coming into the market, and we also retested this previous high as support. So this was looking very bullish because we can see a beautiful bounce to the top side as just we want to see. And now we want to see that Bitcoin is coming back to this previous resistance again, and eventually we want to see a bullish break to the top side of course and create more bullish price action in the coming week. So let's see if Bitcoin can come back to this level and eventually see more exponential moves to the top side, because Bitcoin is still in this huge uptrend. And if we're coming to the next big resistance, that will be confluent with these previous highs, and these four highs are just a very interesting resistance, and that will be around the $72,000. So if Bitcoin breaks the $69,000, then the $72,000 will be next. And we can also see these horizontal resistance and support lines coming into play. And yesterday we bounced again from this huge support area, so this holding strong. And we can already see 4 daily closes above this support area, so this is looking very good. So now we want to push again to the top side resistance and break it to the top side. And we want to see more exponential moves for Bitcoin. As I was saying, Bitcoin is still in this uptrend on the daily time frame. So let's see if we can just continue this bullish momentum to the top side, and that of course will be very bullish for Bitcoin. And then these horizontal levels needs to be broken to the top side in order to create a new all-time high for Bitcoin. And yesterday we had another very bullish day for the Bitcoin ETFs. We saw a total inflow of $402 million, so this is insane of course, and especially BlackRock is buying like crazy, and they bought for $292 million, so this is looking very bullish. And also Fidelity and the ARK Invest Bitcoin ETFs are buying, so this is looking good to see. And also Grayscale isn't selling anything. And now we're seeing an all-time high of the total cumulative inflow, and we're coming above the $22 billion. So as we see on this chart, a spike to the top side, and this spike, it feels just like the start of the Bitcoin ETFs, and we can see a lot of bullish inflows into this ETF. So this is looking very bullish, and of course this will have a very bullish effect on the price of Bitcoin on the long term. So let's see if we can see another bullish week next week, because in the last 2 weeks we saw a lot of bullish inflows. And if we then have a short look on the Ethereum ETFs, we can see a total outflow of $19.2 million. So this was bearish again. All the ETFs weren't selling or buying anything, but Grayscale was selling a portion of the Ethereum. So this was having a bearish effect on the price of Ethereum. So this is looking very bad, of course, for the Ethereum ETFs. So let's see what the Ethereum ETFs can do in the next week. And as I was saying in my intro, we are still in this huge bull flag formation, and last week we broke out of it, and now this week we are seeing a bullish retest because this previous resistance has been turned into support, and now we can see some exponential moves if it's come all together for this bull flag formation. And the bull flag formation has a breakout target of $108,000, so this could be a very interesting target for Bitcoin, and the target will be around somewhere around here. And that will be very bullish for Bitcoin. And it's all because we can see just a continuation of the bullish price action to the top side. So let's see if next week we can see a separation of this bull flag formation, and then we can see exponential moves. Because in the end of October, it could all happen for Bitcoin, and the big bull run could be started next week. And if we then zoom out further, we can see on the monthly time frame, we are still in this consolidation formation around the previous all-time high, and in every previous cycle we saw the same price action occurring, and every time we touched the previous all-time high we had a bit of a price interaction here, just as we can see here. And currently we are at the same level, so let's see if we can see an exponential move to the top side just like we saw in the last cycles, and then we'll of course be very bullish for Bitcoin. And if we can see some similar price action happening for Bitcoin, just like we can see here, and then we could see levels around the $300,000, and this of course will be very bullish. But let's see if we can see a separation of this huge resistance area, because this resistance area needs to be broken to the top side in order to see more bullish continuation for Bitcoin. And the first altcoin I want to discuss with you is Vechain. Vechain was in this huge descending triangle on the daily time frame, and we broke out bullish. We also saw this huge horizontal resistance and support coming into play, and currently we are back at this huge support level on the lower side. So let's see if we can see a bounce from this level, because Vechain hasn't been very strong in the last weeks, and now we want to see a bounce to the top side again, and that we're coming closer to this resistance area on the top side, and eventually we want to see a break, a retest, and then aim for exponential moves to the top side. And the top side of this falling wedge formation will be confluent with the breakout target of this formation, and it will be around the 5 cents. But if we have another look on the daily chart for Vechain, we can see this triangle is unfolding for Vechain with multiple touch points on the top side as resistance, and on the low side we can see a lot of touch points as support, and eventually this price is getting squeezed into this apex, so we will see a breakout very soon. And of course we all want to see a bullish break, and then a bullish continuation to the top side. So this will be the bullish scenario, but we could also see a bearish scenario play out, and that we could see a bearish break, a retest of the previous support to turn it into resistance, and then we have to aim for lower prices. So we will most likely see a huge break in the coming 2 weeks, and this will be a very interesting move for Vechain. And the next interesting altcoin I want to have a look at is DogWifHat, and we can see DogWifHat created a huge bullish momentum. We broke through this huge resistance area on the daily time frame, which was very bullish, and we also can see a retest of the resistance to turn it into support, and this was a perfect bullish retest. And from this bullish retest you could have entered the market for DogWifHat in the long, and then aim for higher prices. And from this bullish retest you could potentially already make a 40% increase on your trade, so this was a very beautiful trade to make. And we can also see resistance is now coming into the market at this level, and on the daily time frame we can also see a lot of price interactions around this level. So this could be the very first make or break level for DogWifHat. And if we're going to break this one to the top side, then we can see more exponential moves. But of course we are now seeing a huge rejection from this level, so we have to aim for lower prices again. And if WIF is coming back to this lower side support, you could enter the market again in a long. The one thing I need to do is paint this area green, because it's being turned into support. So let's see if DogWifHat can just continue the bullish momentum to the top side. And let me know in the comments if you hold DogWifHat in your portfolio, and if you hold any other meme coins in your portfolio. So this was it for today. Please give a like if you find the video useful. Don't forget to follow me on my socials, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.